Hey everyone, it is Nicole with Easy Organized Life. I want to share how I am confident in my budgeting and how I incorporate a online budgeting tool with my paper budgeting planners. This is an adaptation of a Excel spreadsheet that I purchased from debt-free mom Carly Hill, and I will link all of her information in the description. She has a myriad of services. She has this product. It looks completely different when you go to purchase it. So don't be alarmed. This is the same thing, but I have changed a couple of things on it. When she first started sharing and selling her spreadsheet, she had this feature where each column is a pay period. And then whatever happened in, like, say, this is the first column, it would affect each column thereafter. So if you went into the red, let me give you an example. Let's see, if I move $300 into the emergency fund, see how everything turns red and shows you that, like, this isn't going to work. She had that. It didn't turn red, but like it showed you that you were in the negative. I think the one that she sells now is each individual column is a pay period, just like it was before. But now I think that each column is also individual. So, like, if you do something in this column, it's not going to affect this one. You basically get a fresh start in the new column. And if you want to affect future columns, you would put money, like you would move money into, like, say this is like your future spending. I think she calls it future paycheck or pay period. And then, like, so like this would essentially be taking it out of your budget, and then you would put it over here, like from spending, to add it back into this column. I Googled like how to affect this so that I wanted to see how it affected all of my pay periods afterwards. I changed that formula up here. I also color coded differently. So that's just something that you can do or not do. All of these categories are also in different orders. And she has on the end, she has like how much you spent, how much you made, like the percentages in each category. I moved that over here on the left, so I didn't have to scroll all the way to the right when I was seeing this, because she also has it set up where it's 6 pay periods at a time, and I made mine the whole year. Early in the year, that's a lot of scrolling to get to the right, to the end of the spreadsheet. But now that I've explained all of that, on how like it's so different. Let me explain how I use this. I use this as a planning tool and a reconciliation tool. So I will plan when I'm going to pay bills, what is my budget going to look like using this Excel spreadsheet. So up here, you have your starting check balance, your starting checking account balance. Now, this is for one checking account. If you want to use a different checking account, you're going to need a different tab. Otherwise, it gets way too complicated. Over here is your starting checking account balance. And then up here is the amount that you're going to have left after you spend everything. So I have our main paycheck. I have money that we moved from our future spending account. This future spending account, the way I use it is one dumping place for all of our quote unquote sinking funds. So this is going to cover anything that we have quarterly that comes up, like pest or HOA. It's going to cover any spending like birthday parties, or not birthday parties, but like birthdays. It's going to cover Christmas. It's going to cover if I want to buy clothing. It's going to cover car registration, car maintenance, tires, house repairs, anything like that. Our emergency fund for us only covers if we like lose a job, need to pay the mortgage, need to, like something catastrophic. We have that in a completely different bank account. It's in a high yield savings. We've made it, more difficult to access. This is really just, sometimes we have thousands in there. Sometimes we have like $42, just depending on what's going on, but it is not our like main savings account. Over here we have giving, then we have emergency fund. So this is if we have like a big thing, like a bonus coming in, we're going to move money into our Roth IRA, investment accounts, emergency funds. So that is why this is here at the top. And here's our high savings or high yield savings account. We have a automatic deposit where our mortgage is pulled into a separate bank account to always have that available. So this is what this means. Anything that's highlighted in green, actually, I don't know why this is all highlighted in green. There we go. Actually, this one needs to be green. Is if it's cleared. Anything, so up here, if you see this, yellow is paid but not cleared through the bank. Green is cleared through the bank. And then blue is if I want to or I'm planning to use our future spending account for that cost. So over here we have all of our bills. And then when they are due, I've highlighted them in gray because some of them, like this one, even though that was the due date, like we didn't actually need to make a payment on it because we had paid extra as part of our like savings debt goals. So I still want to know that it's due. But I know that we like it didn't have to come out of this checking account because we used other funds. I have everything listed for each pay period for our main monthly bills. I think Carly has this broken up into categories, and that was too much scrolling for me. I wanted to be able to see all of the monthly bills that I'm responsible for in one view, and this was the way I was able to do it. Then we have quarterly bills, and then we have yearly bills. And a lot of these are not current, but anything that we've ever had a subscription for, I put in here in case we want to either cancel it or start it up again. So like Ring is due here, but I did cancel it and I want to scooch it over down so that it resets at a different time of year. So that's what I'm going to do with that. Then we have grocery. We usually spend about 200, but if you watched my video from Monday, you'll know why this is only $100. This is very ambitious. I've already spent $38.70, so we'll see. This has to last until next Tuesday. So we'll see we'll see if this is realistic. Again, your budget does need to be realistic. So you'll see over here, I highlighted this because it's going to be $350 because I'm getting ready for Thanksgiving. So obviously Thanksgiving is a lot more expensive. So I budgeted $350. I have shopping. Oh, I do want to explain. So grocery, Costco, and then Target got moved up here because I went ahead and got a Target card to start saving 5%. And so our Target is actually listed over here now. And I budget $100 a month. And these things are no matter what you buy there. So I'm not breaking out paper towels from over the counter like vitamins or like Tylenol and Advil or like allergy meds or clothing, like anything that you can buy at these stores gets put into this category. I went to Costco, I bought allergy meds, protein shakes, and I bought sweaters. And it all went under the same category. So for us, it's all coming out of the same place. So that's how it's going to get categorized to keep everything a lot easier for me. Then we have shopping. We have Freddie the cat, and then we have all of our cars. We have weekly gas budget. I maybe fill my car like once a month. It's we live in a small town and I only leave the house like once or twice a week to run some errands. And so it's fabulous. I recently got my oil changed and my registration is due. But okay, so then health and medical. So like here is a good example. I just budget $20 a week. Sometimes I don't buy any prescriptions, obviously, and sometimes there's like $60 worth. So it seems to be working. That's something that I'll fine tune for 2026 once I look at our budget as a whole, because we do also have an HSA where we have money and we're paying for prescriptions through there as well. Family spending. This used to be a very active part of our budget. Sports activities, there were yearbook purchases, graduation, clothing, sports gear, class photos. There was so much expense that used to be over in this area, and we are really, really loving this, although college expenses have replaced this. So we use a different account for that. This is, even though this is empty, there's still some expenses going to those kids. And then over here, I have subscriptions again, just to remind me of like what I use. So like Audible, I will cancel and restart like several times a year. That is like Amazon Prime, Ring. We get Peacock through Instacart. Let's see, and then we have events and holidays, and that is where we've got a birthday coming up, and then we have, this is the Christmas spending. I don't, again, I'm not sure if that is reasonable, or I'm not sure like how I feel about that, but that is what I'm putting there. Our kids are young adults now. I'm not quite sure how that's going to go. We probably should make a plan for that and start talking about what we're going to get the kids. Then we have miscellaneous, and then we've got our debt. And then down here, little spending trackers. So you put your category on what you want. You can make it whatever you want. And then you put your budget, and then what you have left, and then you put your spending. So here's my one grocery purchase for this week. This is what I did last week, and I went $42 over. I went $8 over here, and then I went $1.81 over here. Depending on what we have going on for that pay period, I will change the titles of these and just track whatever I need to track. Now I'm pulling these numbers from my paper tracker, my paper spending tracker. I really like to pull up our bank, our bank account online, and then write down everything that I am spending, and then I will come over here to reconcile everything and input it during the pay period and at the end of the pay period to see how everything shook out. And then I will use this Excel spreadsheet to change what I need to change. And then that way I'm not like manually calculating things, erasing, crossing out, but I am using the paper planners to check off like, yes, I paid this bill. Yes, I paid that bill. I will add on the paper tracker. You can see in some of my videos, like, there's a spending category for things that pop up. So like, if Freddie needs something that we didn't realize he was going to need, that will usually get put, that's the most common expense that we have right now that pops up. So anyway, that is how I use this Excel spreadsheet to be financially confident in my budget. So I know that the numbers that I have put out there and decided on are actually going to work, and that all of these numbers up here are not in the red, because when they go in the red, that means that we have to fix something. I hope that you enjoy this. I will put Carly's information in the description. She's fabulous. She has a lot of great advice and knowledge, and I will also put the HYSA, high yield savings account referral, for in case you want to start one as well. We use Ally, and they have buckets in there, and those can be quote unquote spending envelopes. So we have like a bucket for college, we have a bucket for emergency fund, we have a bucket for travel over there. It is really a great resource. Okay, I really hope that was helpful. Go ahead and leave any questions that you have. I will see you next time.